Hello everybody, Ghostblade1062 here with another locomotive review. Today we will be looking at a Class V100 diesel locomotive made by Roco in the Modellbahnshop-Lippe Exclusive Erfurter Bahnservice livery. This locomotive is number 365 of 500 made. And now, let's move on to the unboxing. Alright, taking a look at our box, we have the standard Roco box here with the logo and website on the front. On the bottom, we again have the Roco logo, as well as a manufacturer address, and a QR code, as well as age restriction warning. On the top we just have the logo, as well as on the right side. The bottom of the box is blank. However, on the left side of the box here we do have some product information, starting with the product number, this being 7310046. It is in the Erfurter Bahnservice scheme, EBS, HO scale made by Roco. It is a DC locomotive equipped with decoder and sound, road number 202597-1. And here we have the product barcode. And we also have a line drawing of the locomotive itself. Opening up the box, the first thing we see is our certificate of authenticity. And then, covered up by a sheet of foam, we have access to the locomotive itself. And also included, we have this baggie of spare detail parts, including coupling hooks, brake line hoses, air reservoir tanks, and other such fine details. And taking the locomotive out, we have it sitting in this two-piece cradle. And here we have the locomotive itself. And now, taking off the foam inserts, we get access to our paperwork for the locomotive, including our function sheet, we have our parts diagram with part numbers, and of course our operator's manual. And with that, we are now ready to move on to the detail overview section of the video. Time to take a closer look at this locomotive. Starting on the end here, we have our snowplow underneath, with the side corners here beside the buffers having yellow and black safety striping. Then we have our buffers here, these being the more modern rectangular ones. And on the buffer beam itself, we have multiple holes for fitting additional detail parts, like the brake line hoses. And we of course have our kinematics tension lock style coupling here, which pops back to the center nicely. Then moving up on either side of the body here, we have our head and tail lights, with the third one being in the top center here. And we have the Erfurter Bahnservice reporting marks on this white stripe here, along with the road number below it, 202597-1. And we have our grab irons here as well. And tilting upward, we can see we have corrugated metal here for walking on. Moving on to the side of the locomotive, we have a number of molded in access panels on the main body here, as well as our walkway that goes all around with steps which are molded in. Looking at the trucks, we have our traction motors here with nice detailing for the suspension. And moving towards the center of the locomotive, at the bottom here we have our fuel tank with steps going up into the door here, which is molded in with molded in door handle. We do have separately fitted handrails on the sides, and the Erfurter Bahnservice logo on the side here with the road number again. And looking inside, we have some cab detailing that is visible, and we have our sunshade over the windows here. And on either side of the cab we have exhaust stacks, as well as our horn, with the other side not having one attached at the moment. On the bottom of the fuel tank we also have capacity information and warning labels. And moving on along the side here, we have our radiator grates, as well as more access panels. Now looking at this end here, we see much of the same detailing as its counterpart. And on the last side, again, we have much of the same detailing as well. Looking at the locomotive from the top, we can see that along the edge of the hoods we have grab irons all the way around, all the way along the length. You also can see these two molded in radiator fans and the exhaust stacks and antenna here in the center of the roof. And looking at the underside quickly, we don't have much here. We can see the access to the gears here for greasing on both trucks. We also have a traction tire here on this wheel, but aside from that we do not have any traction tires on this locomotive. And we see our NEM sockets at either end as well. And that covers the detail overview of this locomotive. And next, we will move on to the rip track segment. Time for the rip track segment. To begin with, we are going to verify the wheel gauge of the locomotive with the NMRA standards gauge. And axle 1 is good. Axle 2 is good. Axle 3 is good. And axle 4 is also good. So all 4 of our axles are engaged, which is a great start. And now we're going to swap the couplers to number 19 knuckle couplers. It's 1 and 2. Knuckle coupler number 1. And knuckle coupler number 2. And now to verify the coupler height. And coupler number 1 is at proper height. Now for coupler number 2, we are also at proper height. So both of our couplers are at the right height, which means we are now ready to take the locomotive over to the track for a function test. Alright, I've got the locomotive on the track now, and what I have done is I reprogrammed the address of it to match the last 4 digits of the road number, as well as increased the volume as it was quite quiet. So now let's go over the functions. Starting with function 0, the directional lighting. Function 1 is the prime mover and startup. Function 2 is the short horn blast. Function 3, the long horn blast. Function 4 is the conductor's whistle. Function 5 is the coupling sounds. Function 6 is shunting mode. Function 7 is the curve squeal. Function 8 is compressor sounds. Function 9 is the engine preheating. Function 10 is the converter. Function 11 is the long horn. Function 12 turns off the rear lights. Function 13 turns off the headlights. Function 14 is the mute function. Function 15 is running without load. Function 16 is the ventilation grills opening. Function 17 is the fan. Function 18 is the handbrake. Function 19 is sanding. And then the last two functions, 20 and 21, are volume control. 20 being for increasing the volume and 21 for decreasing it. And with that, we conclude our function test. And next, I'll show some run-by footage of the locomotive with some trains that I shot at Big Valley. Right, everybody, this concludes my review of the Roco EBS V100. That is the exclusive model of Modellbahnshop-Lippe. All in all, a very nice unit. I did find that when I initially put it on the track, the factory volume settings were quite low, so I increased the volume prior to the function test, and I did do the running in for it as well as shooting the run-by footage at Big Valley during the Alberta Free-Mo event. So I did actually shoot the footage of the run-by before I filmed the actual review. And by ways of running, I had no issues with it at all. And with the various track conditions of the Free-Mo setup, it proved to be quite resilient. And all in all, a beautiful addition to the collection. That being said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment, and subscribe for more model railroad content. Have a great day, everybody!